Hi guys, so today I'll be showing you how to replace your seat cover, and this is just a bar stool, and a lot of people have this issue that over time your seat cover for this bar stool will start to rip off like this, the leather goes bad, or if it's like artificial leather, eventually it will break down like this over the years. So don't throw your chair out. I mean, this is a very expensive chair that I have here, and the only thing that is bad with this is the cover. So I'm going to show you how to replace this, so stay tuned. First thing you need to do is put this thing upside down on a table like this, and you will see on the bottom, of course you don't have to disassemble everything, but there are 4 screws that is holding the seat on, and all you have to do is just unscrew those 4 screws and that will get the seat out. So that's what I'm going to do right now. And what we're going to do is remove this cover. So all you have to do is just put a cut through this and just get this cover out. But make sure you don't go too deep because there's foam underneath this and you don't want the foam to cut and come apart. So we'll just take a knife and just go all around it. Okay guys, so I think I'm ready to do the cutting over here, but before I do that, I'm just going to tell you what the size is. So in my case, my size is 17 inches for the diameter. And so what size of fabric are you going to need? So in my case, I bought a fabric which is 30 inches, so that will give me enough fabric to cover this entire thing. So I got a square piece of 30 by 30, and that's the one I'm going to be using. So I have 4 of these, and I bought a total of 1.5 yards of linen. So with that, let's go ahead and start that. So you just take a knife and be careful, don't cut yourself, but I'm going to, right before the staples, I'm going to start cutting because I don't want the staples to come off. So I'm just going to put a nice sharp edge mark. So I think this is the point where I started, and I'm just gonna lift, cut, and lift it. So here you can see I've lifted the fabric, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to just try to rip it and just help it with the knife, because I want to make sure the foam, and you can see right here there's a foam, and you don't want the foam to get damaged. So I'm going to put this knife like this and just keep going around until I take this whole thing off. And of course you're gonna have some rip like this, but it's okay, a little bit is okay. The idea is not to damage the entire foam. So once you have a little bit, you can start ripping this. Doesn't matter, I'm gonna rip this. This makes it easier if you just rip it and then start it. So now you can see with the mark that the cut that we made, it just makes it easier to come off. And just keep going on. And if you get stuck, you can again use the knife a little bit, but you don't really have to go with the knife all the way around if you did a decent enough cut. So I'm stuck here, so I'm just going to use the knife. So you can see, got this, which makes it much easier. And I'm just going to use the knife and okay, so this is the cover that I'm using. I'm not using leather. This is I think it's a microfiber, and I think this will last me much longer than an artificial leather. So if you have a leather, I mean, it's the same process, but I'm just using a microfiber. So anyway, so this piece is about 35 inches and 30 inches. You can use 30 and 30. I bought a yard and a half of carbon fiber for 4 of my cushions. So that is the equal length that I cut from that piece. You know, might be a little bit longer, but which is okay, because we're gonna cut the end of the remaining piece later on, but it's better to have it wider. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take this and bring it on one side, and just make sure you give it a nice tug, and make sure it's equal from both ends. So just from one hand, we're gonna do this and put a staple there. This is going to be my starting point. And then you want to push it back in just to make sure you have a good tug. And you don't want it too loose, you know, and you don't want it too tight either, so just enough. And by doing that, just make sure you flip it and see, make sure it's nice and tight, but not too tight. I think this is enough, because if you put too tight or if you pull it too much, then it put wrinkles, because it's going to compress your foam, so you don't want that. So in my case, this is just perfect. And you need one of these staplers, by the way, forgot to mention that. These are very easy to find at Home Depot or any hardware store. All right, so once you have your two ends ready, then you can go ahead and turn it. And a lot of people do this. Don't do that. Do it to your two ends and start going this way and finish the half circle, and then start going this way and finish the half circle. So what we're going to do is just going to roll it like this, because you don't want to see the wrinkles. So if you do this, you can see from this side it's going in nice. You just have to play around with it, get the wrinkles out, and when you find that sweet spot where you don't see the wrinkles on the side, that's when you put a staple there. I think this is my sweet spot. And this is the same technique as you're going to go all the way around, because that's the only way you can do it. Just put your hand in there and make it nice and smooth. Again, don't pull it too hard and don't leave it too loose. I think this is a good spot for me, where I can put another one right here. And make sure when you're putting your staples in, you want to cover as much as you can so it holds in good. And I think this is good. Now I'm going to go on this side. And you don't want to just keep going this way. You want to make sure you bring in fabric from the other end too, because if you don't do that, then at the end you're going to have too much wrinkles on the other side. So I'm going to avoid that as well. So do this. And don't rush in, guys. Take your time, because this is critical work, and if you rush in, then you're gonna mess it up. So that's another sweet spot for me. And it is okay if you are in the way of stapling and you may have to remove a staple or two here and there. That is completely acceptable. So don't worry too much about stapling something wrong, because you can always take it off. That's another sweet spot. Again, don't pull it too hard. Okay, so this is a point where you're getting close to your other end. So basically you started from here, and you completed almost a semicircle, and you reached your other stapler. And this is a critical point because we're gonna have to remove this. So yes, this was halfway through, but we're gonna remove this to get the other wrinkle off and to get it adjusted. So be ready for that. So to remove this, just use a single plier and you can just pull off. Just make sure you put it on the side so nobody get hurt with that thing. Okay, so now it's time for me to kind of look at my work so you can see the half circle is complete and it's pretty decent. So this is stuff you can always remove the pin and clean it up later on, but you want to see the overall. So half circle is done and we're just going to continue. So now you're reaching towards the end and you can see how it looks from each end. So when you're reaching towards the end, that's a critical part because you may have a little bit more than what you expect since you're coming to an end and moving the wrinkles away. So this is a little bit critical point to pay close attention to this end. Again, make sure you're putting your hand behind it, inside the fabric, and turning it. And this is okay, so this is the original pin, the very first pin that we put in, and we're going to remove this to get this wrinkle out because it's going to be very hard. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this pin. So here it is, and again, if you're not satisfied with, or if you see any other wrinkles, you can always remove one or two of the pins and adjust it. In my case, I have a back seat, so some of the wrinkles that I'm getting on this side, I'm going to put this on the back so I don't see it, and the front, I'm going to pick an area which is nice and clean with no wrinkles, and I think they'll give me good, nice and smooth surface. But you can see overall, it's nice and tight, and we'll go ahead and put it on. Okay, so now what I did was I cut the excess piece from here. Just make sure you don't go inside, right? Stay outside. And now here's the trick I'm going to show you guys. So some of the wrinkles that, how do I get rid of these, right? So the best way to do it is, again, you can adjust it and then add another stapler right here to hold that. So you can pull this from this side. Let's see. Make sure you take your time. Okay, so this is the final product. Of course, depending on how nitpicky you are, you can go around and around and make it this thing perfect. But for me, I think it's great. And this is what the bottom looks like. And again, you can cut the excess out. And all this stuff will be hidden underneath, so it doesn't matter how you have these patterns for these hooks. So now I think it's time for us to put this back on the chair. So what you want to do is if you have more wrinkles on the back side, you're going to put this on the back. So in my case, I put this one on the back, and the one with the less wrinkles, I put that end on the front. Just align it, and all you have to do is just put the 4 screws that you took out initially, and you will be done with your chair. So this is the end result, and as you can see, it looks pretty nice. And guys, that is the end. So if you like my video, please subscribe to my channel and like the video. Thank you.